So this is a quick tutorial how to replace a glass in a French door. Your typical French door from your big box store like Lowe's or Home Depot. Typically it's going to be metal or fiberglass, and it will have this type of grommet around the glass. So what it does, it's on both sides. What it does, it sandwiches frame together. You can see there's screws, and they're usually hidden by these plastic cover pieces. So, and usually they're painted over so you can't even see them sometimes, and it's really hard to get them out. So you just have to use a tiny screwdriver, kind of pry one side, and this is how it comes out. So it looks like this when it's out. And if you get them destroyed, you can buy them online. I'll try to search for some links. I'll post them in the description. If anything, you can always go to Lowe's or your local Home Depot and try to see if they have these in stock. So as far as tools, you will need your typical scrapers. You know, you could probably use a utility knife. I think it's thin enough. Just got to make sure you don't break the glass as you scrape it. You know, it's always best to use a thin putty knife. Something like this. It's super thin and flexible. And you will need a tiny screwdriver to pry those little cover pieces out, those plastic cover pieces out, so you can get to your screws. And you'll need a drill gun, impact, or a Phillips screwdriver to remove the screws. And also a clear silicone. And it's usually a two-man job, but if you have a suction cup, you can do it by yourself. It's not too hard, but only if you have a suction cup, of course. And this glass, typically from what I've seen, it's normally ½ inch, the overall thickness. Sometimes there will be sometimes it will be 1 inch, and you can tell it will be thicker. And this grommet, this plastic piece will be thinner, will be offset more. And normally, if you want to measure for a glass replacement, you measure your daylight. What you can see, you put the tape measure up here and go to the edge and you add an inch. Typically, it's an even number. Usually on the width, it's 20 inches. And on the height, I believe it's 62. I will double check, but it's an even number always. Start by removing the blinds if there's any blinds on the door. Gently pry, try not to destroy the plastic. There you go. Once you got all the little plastic covers removed and all the screws are exposed, first thing to do, if your door's been painted, you want to score the paint just along this grommet piece. Just score it like so with the utility blade. So this way, when you take this grommet off, this plastic piece off, it doesn't peel the paint with it. So just a little thin line with the utility blade. Just do it all the way around. And you typically want to score the paint line on the interior only, on the inside. So now go ahead and unscrew all the screws that are exposed. If you're doing a job by yourself, you want to leave at least 1 or 2 screws in, like top and bottom one, so it kind of holds the pressure and holds the grommet and glass in place, so this way it doesn't fall out while you're doing something else. If there's 2 of you, if you have help, you can have someone on the outside holding the glass, and this way you can remove all the screws. So once all the screws are removed, you can go ahead and take this grommet piece off. It's not glued to anything, so it comes out in one piece, like so. And like I said, if you're doing a job by yourself, it's always a good idea to leave a couple of screws in so it holds the frame together. So when you go on the outside and cut the glass away from the frame, the glass will not fall in. But if you're using a suction cup or you have help, you can just go ahead and unscrew all the screws and take this piece out. Now you're going on the outside and you have to cut the glass away from the frame. This is where you use the thin putty knife. If you're doing it by yourself, go ahead and put a suction cup on the glass so this way you can hold it. Or if you have another person, have them go on the inside and hold the glass. So stick your corner in, kind of work it back and forth, and you'll feel it cutting glue away from the glass and the frame. And like I said, this stuff is really gooey, really sticky. And this is how you take it out in one piece. So now you got the glass out, go ahead and clean the old sealant off the frame. So it's really sticky stuff. Just kind of scrape it off, get rid of it completely if you can. So this surface here is nice and flat. Now this surface is nice and clean, nice and flat. Go ahead and run a bead of silicone. I just use clear silicone. Run a nice bead. Don't put too much because it's going to squeeze out on the back side and it's going to be kind of hard to clean it. So just run the bead on the surface, on this flat surface all the way around. So now you're ready to set the new piece of glass in. Make sure the edges are wiped clean. There's nothing that's stuck on the edges. And one thing, like I was telling earlier, this is always going to be even size, so meaning no fractions. Like this one's going to be 20 by 64. That's a typical size for these French doors. Once again, this type of French door where frame sandwiches together, so that's the size always going to be even. And go ahead and set it bottom in first. and the bottom of the glass is supposed to rest on the plastic pieces that stick out. You'll see them, that's where the screws screw into. So there you go, the glass is set. Go ahead and take your plastic piece, that grommet that goes all the way around, and put it back in place. And it's super easy, you know, these holes line up with the outside hole, so you'll feel it. It basically almost snaps in. So once this is back in, go ahead and screw the frame together. So now all the screws are in, go ahead and put these plastic cover pieces back in. Same way they were in before. So the worst case scenario, if you cannot find replacement pieces for this, but you can always use a white acrylic silicone to fill the hole and kind of even it out, smooth it out, and you can paint over it. Now, glass is in, screws are in, the plastic pieces covers are in. Go ahead and clean the glass, and this is going to be your final step. And the job is done. And I will try to put links in the description below on where you can buy these plastic cover pieces for your screw holes, or glass cleaner, or specialty tools. Never know, you might need to buy them or use them. And if you have any questions, comment below. I will try to answer them as soon as I can. And thank you for watching.